Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finest Dawn of War Pro Modcast this side of East Yorkshire. Today we've got a 1 vs 1 on Blood River. Over the York corner we've got Matu. There's over on the other side of the map we've got Itness playing as the Necrons. He'll be opening up with some Necron warriors, triple plasma generators and a summoning core. Whereas the Ork player is going to go for some shooter boys, a grot squad, boys hut, plasma generators, war banner and all that good gubbins. Got to be careful for these Necrons in the early game. Very, very pertinent and deadly in the first 5 minutes or so of the game. Able to go straight for a Necron squad as they already start with their free builder scarabs. Have to place out these plasma generators fairly distant from each other, as in Dawn of War Pro mod. You can't build them too close to each other. Summoning core can also recruit wraiths from there as well. So got to keep that in mind as the Necron warriors move down towards this relic over yonder. Do have some... there we go. We've got some hard boys for the Orks. Medium to heavy infantry, able to stand up a lot more towards the Wraiths and the Necron warriors early on in the game. Interesting to see how they are utilised later on. Big Mech also coming out to play as shooter boys capture this strategic point, and a listening post is being built on top of it. Necron warriors are just going to come and say hello, see how their green neighbours are doing. We'll begin firing at these grots. Negative cover. It's not somewhere where the grots want to sit, but they want to build up this listening post as quickly as possible to provide some defensive firing goodness. Hard boys moving down. Going to try and push these guys off, and with the amount of health that they have, not so much the health, but their armour and whatnot, we'll be able to take these guys on in close combat. Especially when being supported by a shooter boy squad as well for the additional DPS. Necron warriors in a bit of a bind. They cannot reinforce when they're away from the monolith. The Necron faction in Dawn of War Pro mods, a lot more hit and run, a lot more raiding and whatnot. Big Mech moving down, going to provide some melee support in the form of his big old choppy chopper axe. Hard boys reinforce themselves, able to out-heal or out-health these guys with the help of these shooter boys and whatnot. Blade ones there, the massive morale-reducing aura about them. So hard boys have got to keep away from those if they want to remain relevant and active in close combat. Big Mech gonna use his pistol from a distance as he's got all the way down to half health. Has been upgraded with his custom teleporter there, so now has access to teleporting should he require or wish. These Necron warriors over here, not having the best of times, will get a full squad wipe down there. As these wraiths have been teleported in via the obelisk, not the obelisk, sorry, the Necron monolith. That teleporting ability there does cost them some green money, and does have a fairly decent recharge time. Wraiths trying to keep these shooter boys active, or unactive should I say, as an obelisk blows everything up in the general vicinity. But the Orks are looking pretty strong at the moment. If you can fend off that first Necron attack, you're probably going to do alright for at least the next 5 or so minutes. Pile of guns being popped down by these grots. Hoping to get that little fiery dude on top to provide additional defensive capabilities. Wraiths won't say yes to that though. In a deal or no deal situation, these Wraiths are going with no deal. But the grots are alright. Morale has been broken, but they are able to run away. I mean, they were running away, but now they're engaging close combat like the true grots chads that they are. But absolute chaos and bedlam as these flayed ones are being brought down to relatively low health. Also suffering from the negative cover by the looks of things, which is very unusual for a Necron squad, but it is what it is. And they are going to teleport home after being zapped by the Necron monolith. They are only able to reinforce near the monolith, so that's a thing. Can't remember if I mentioned that before. Nothing major going on in the Ork base at the moment. Like I said, just the pile of guns and the war banner. 85 and 20 compared to 12% and 70%. Oh, sorry, 12% and 70 green money. Sorry, speaking is really hard today for some reason. So they have not built up many obelisks at the moment, although they do have control of both relics. Also building a plasma generator over yonder. Necron Lord ready, willing, and Vince Cable, if you pardon the Lib Dem pun there, Big mate there, not afraid to... Not being shy. Seeing what these guys are all about. And to be honest, with the current build speed of the Necrons, it's not really what you want to see from an Orc player. We want to start building up these strategic points to some obelisks, just so their building of new units can take a little bit less time. This obelisk and plasma generator is probably going to go down if the Necrons don't respond to it. Both shooter boys are going to chill out near this negative cover as the builder scarabs are a little bit lost for words. Over down on this side, they have built up a ghost turret as well as a plasma generator. Some attack scarabs on the way as well, and flayed ones jumping down here. So this is a lot of tech for the Orcs to lose. We'll have to respond to this as quickly as humanly possible. Although the Grots being infiltrated are doing a great job at rebuilding this. Necron tier pillar being popped down, going to reduce the line of sight of the Grots within the vicinity, as well as making them be revealed. War banner goes down. Shooter boys, now with their big shooters, will certainly cause mischief and havoc, to these wraiths. You have a Necron slag volcano going down. Not sure if that was a misclick or anything. These builder scouts try and push away. Slugger boys jumping into the pile of guns, keeping themselves safe from damages, harm. Blade ones there going down with a whimper. Attack scabs also doing the same as well. Necron's going to do something to quell this Orc momentum. For every battle that they win, they get a little bit stronger in the form of their burners and superior numbers. Necron Lord gonna stab this dude in the groin, right on the floor. And then he's gonna where have you teleported to, Mr. Necron Lord? Teleported over here, gonna try and protect this ghost turret. Currently the Orcs don't really have anything to take down this turret at the moment, apart from the big mech and his big old choppy axe. Although mind you, later on in the game when they get to tier 2, they will be able to get some rocket launchers, should they choose. Necron Lord being constantly chased around by the big mech. 1v1, the big mech will win in a straight melee fight. Necron Warriors coming in for some support.
4 minutes.
Ghost turret being stricken down. And some attack scarabs being popped out as well. Is anyone going to go for tier 2 at the moment? Doesn't seem like it. Does not indeed. Just playing around in tier 1 at the moment. Necron Warrior squad looks like it's been wiped. Necron Lord over here not looking too pretty. Blade ones there, managing to prevent the morale of this Ardboy squad, almost getting a squad wipe on them, but narrowly avoiding death as they fall back to safer ground. Slugger boys putting some work in, screening these flayed ones away from their shooter boys with their big old shooters. More Necron tier pylons, or pillars, sorry, been slapped down, erected from the sands, reducing the line of sight of the shooter boys as they go into tier 2. And what are you going? Can I see what we're going for? From this distance? I'm going to go for anything major, but I'm going to build up some more Necron Warriors. Look at the impressive reinforcement rate of Necron Warriors when they're near a monolith. But not wanting to spend their whole life around that pylon, will hunt down this Lord and manage to get him. Will also decap that critical location. Destroying plasma generators as they go. Necron's losing a lot of economy in the form of investment in buildings and also plasma generator, which is not a happy time for them. 30% and 90 green money compared to 85 and 20, almost in the tier 2s. I've got some Storm Boys. Ideal for harassment and whatnot. This Necron plasma generator and obelisk is looking very fragile. But these Storm Boys are going to focus on decapping the critical locations first and foremost. Builder Scout squad being taken out. Pressure mounting on the Necron player. This is a sizable Orc force at the sub 10 minute marker. Look at that, 13 Slugger Boys right in there. 42 Orc pop. That's 42 individual Orcs on the field right now.
Yeah.
which is very terrifying from the Necron player's perspective. And he started building up his forces, going to regain some flayed ones. And to be honest, attacking a Necron base is actually quite a difficult thing to do. Like we saw earlier, the reinforcement rate near the monolith is quite incredible. Going to regain the Necron Lord. I mean, what's their economy like at the moment? Not amazing, but should be popping out some Necron warriors as and when they can. If anything, just to hold off these hard boys. Going to go for a knob leader. An extra hard knob, if you pardon the pun. Your boy's going to focus on his plasma generator. Necron Lord almost coming out to say hello. Blade One's getting the upper hand on these shooter boys. Slicing away some green fungi flesh. Necron Warriors, if they could just hold this ridge on the river and use negative cover to their advantage, might gain some sort of at least temporary advantage while they're waiting for the rest of their guys to get online. Disruption field being researched for them. Also going to go for a forgotten artifact. Good lord. Death Mask, which does whatever it says on the screen here. Certainly useful, I am sure. Blade One's cutting and rending their foes. Keen to wear the green flesh of their Ork enemies. Big shooters on these shooter boys, really putting in some work for these flayed ones. Not entirely sure if they're able to hold for much longer. Probably want to teleport them back ASAP. Although we do have a Necron Sea pillar going down, reducing the Lancer once again, narrowly saving the flayed ones. Also pushing them back, allowing the Necron Warriors and the flayed ones to focus their attention on these slugger boys just a little bit. Well, the Necron Lord does what he can to separate these guys. Although shooter boys with their big shooters are going to teleport in on the back of a big mech. Population full. That's another problem if the Necron player focuses too much on their plasma generators in the early game and don't get their obelisks up, then they are lacking in their unit count. I do believe every Necron warrior and flayed one unit is 3 total population pop. If memory serves me correct, Necron warriors teleported back home, going to reinforce as quick as I can, while another flayed one squad is ready to come out to play. Only 2 remaining flayed ones in this squad. Obelisk throwing out a clutch zappy bit. The morale forcing these guys back just ever so slightly. Mad Doc in the mix. Going to keep these shooter boys fighting fit and healthy. They don't really have that much money to play with at the moment. Oh, don't know why my camera did that for a second then. But there we go, more played ones. Hard boy squad, very low on health, quite a lot of these models. 5 models there. It's going to be quite the challenge, like I say, to take on the Necrons. It's a very gradual destruction and decay when fighting in the base. Warriors manoeuvring around, holding on for dear life.
2 minutes until take and hold victory.
Big Mech now feeling the wrath and anger of the Necronology, who was being chased around then. The Necronology decides to type these shooter boys while the flayed ones get a good surround on the Big Mech. Big Mech going to teleport away. Storm boys now storming in. Going to see some Bill of Scarabs doing what they can. Got a green thing down here. Oh, that's still the Necron slag volcano. And it does seem like the Necrons are holding on, managing to bring them around. Lots of red meat been scattered across the battlefield. A couple of ghost turrets would certainly do the trick here if they so chose, but then again they've got the numbers. Absolute insanity. 25% and 90 green money compared to 97 and 29 green money. Not building up an impressive amount of economy on the back of this push I do have to say, Necrons now teleport. Ah, quite like that. An aggressive teleport in. Quite risky though, as they now are not able to retreat teleport for a little while. But they are certainly stomping this Orks momentum into the ground, now gaining a little bit of their own momentum. Orks don't use all their blue money to reinforce their guys to maximum unit size. Not able to really build anything in the base at the moment. But now that they've done what they can, they are going to turn their forces back, trying to prevent this Necro player from taking on the listing post. Starboys trying to do what they can, but attack scavs and Necron Lord are going to chase these guys back. Tank Buster Squad also in the mix. No missile launches on them yet. They're just trundling over with their very impressive melee attack. And yeah, these Slugger Boys are not having the best time of their lives. Constant morale breaking. Big Mech really putting the work in there with his health regeneration. Certainly without that, the Orks would have perished by now. Big Mech now going for some big weapons. His big old claw, which will very much rip these flayed ones a new one. Also going for a mighty fine cannon. I do have to say so myself. Will teleport away, just so you can get some shots off. Slugger Boys once again screening the battlefield. Grots moving around the backside, trying to repair or rebuild this slag deposit. Being infiltrated there, so the Necron Lord will have to move away from the front lines if they want to deny the Grots their infiltration. And in a twisted turn of events, the Necrons seem to have overpushed themselves this time. Who's in here at the moment? Ah, Necron Lord also going down a little bit. Too much aggression going on there.
We're ready.
Going for their tier 3. Energy core in the mix. So potential for some Nightbringers, potential for some Immortals.
Jobs are good.
And Immortals of Dawn of War Pro mod are absolutely the tits. Insanely good models. Sorry, insanely good units. I do have to say it. Sure Boys do have their flash kit squad leaders. Absolutely lethal at range. Gonna decide to slap around this plasma generator. Do some Necron warriors, double flayed ones. What's their economy looking like at the moment? Still got a little bit of green money to spend. We'll probably want to get that Necron Lord back online as soon as possible. Orks now going to go for a settlement, which allow them to get more hero war gear for their big mech. There we go, Necron Lord on the up and up. Once more into the breach, dear friends. Once more. As the flayed ones charge ahead. Grenade from the shooter boys, blasting him a little bit there. And I don't know about this. Charging into the river for these shooter boys might not be the best place, especially when they're... What are they doing to it? Doing a really odd stutter step then. Flayed ones teleporting back home on the baleful glare of the Necron monolith. Orks charging once again. Their numbers renewed. Their morale built up. The momentum swinging once again in the favour of the greenskins. And this is a lot of shooter fire. Even the Nob leaders have got a big old power claw now. It might just be too much for the Necrons to handle this time. As the warriors over here lacking in number. There are some pariahs on the way. Double flayed ones. When I say double, I just mean one unit of 2 flayed ones.
4 minutes until they can hold victory.
Doing the old upward slice. Pariahs don't get to see the light of day there. A Nob squad armed with their axes and power claws and their big old stabby knives. Yeah, it does seem that the Necrons have had it. He throws out a GG, and that is that. Dear oh dear, I thought for a second then that the Necron player was able to at least be in a more comfortable position, maybe work towards a late game. I just think that maybe that push over there was a little bit too intense. Could have just kind of just stayed around here, maybe played around this area, played around the river, and just extended it a little bit longer, waited to get those higher tier units on the go. But cool, anyway, mine has been Mr. Landshark. If you want to support the channel, please do consider having a look at the old Patreon. £1 a month does give you one extra game a week. Yeah, it's been a pleasure as always, never Cho. I'll see you in a bit. Peace.